UJAM Instruments presents Inside Sound Minds, an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at leading artists in sound and music. How did they master their art? What role does technology play in their creative process? Take a peek into the minds of some of the world's most acclaimed composers, producers, and musicians.
My name is Sujin Nam. I'm from South Korea. I live in West Hollywood. I'm a composer. My credits include Spider-Man 2 and 3, the TV show Mad Men, and I wrote the opening song of The Interview. Film is about what's going on now and to the people who are around now. Yeah, that'll last if that lasts, and 100 years later, people may watch it, but right now it's about now. So in that way, doing film music is just natural for me, with especially the background of classical music and jazz and different styles of music could be all expressed in the medium of films. And I like that idea, and then that's something that just very natural for me. My mother was a piano teacher, and she was giving a lesson one day. Her little student left. Although the student has already left, she heard the music playing in her studio, the same piece that my mom was teaching the kid that day. So she was wondering, oh, maybe my student didn't leave yet. So she went back to the studio, and then she found me. I was 3.5 years old, and she said I somehow crawled up onto the piano bench and then was playing the piece that the student was playing that day by ear. So my mom at that time thought I was a genius. She thought wrong. So that's how it started. And then I started piano lessons, and remember that I liked conducting. So I was practicing when I was age 7, probably 7 and 8. I was looking into the mirror and then tried to conduct. I liked little sonata pieces that I liked, and then I was imitating, writing something. And then, Mom, I made a sonata piece, and then I played some silly music. I think for me at that time, it was just it may be a visual thing that there's the conductor just does this hand movement, and then there's music playing. The whole orchestra is following the conductor. That's fascinating. It was magical. My mother took me to all kinds of concerts. So I remember when I was at that age, 7 and 8, going to different concerts. I grew up listening to Western music because that's what I played, classical music. But the concerts that my mom took to was including ethnic music, Korean court music, and which is very boring. I thought I would fall asleep during the concert. Choir, ballet, not only just concerts, ballet and theater, musical. I was very exposed to many different live performances. I think that was very helpful for me to develop the sound of music, not the music that I learned through the score and then the music book in front of me that I have to play off of. So I really appreciate my mother for that. Composers write music, and then somehow it got translated. It is on a paper form. After hundreds of years later, the people now, we see Mozart's music on the paper. What's more important is actually the performance itself, what he was hearing it. It cannot be all translated into a piece of paper that well. So the best way of really seeing what Mozart was thinking is just seeing the performance itself, or later on the recordings of other people who interpreted his music. Skip the sheet music. As a kid, it was all about fantasy. Everything is good, beautiful, flowing. And as a conductor who's actually conducting the orchestra in front of people, I love the interaction with the musicians. When I record music, I try to conduct my own music instead of sitting in the booth with the directors and producers. I have someone sitting in the booth and I go into the stage and then be in the room with the musicians. I always go for something that I haven't done before. That's interesting to me. So at first, right out of college, me being an Asian and female, at that time I was insecure about it. I didn't want to be pigeonholed as, oh, she's a female composer who writes music sound like very girly, and oh, she's Asian composer, her music sounds Asian music. So what I did at that time was taking ethnic, especially Asian sounding music and romantic music that'll make my music sound more female. Like I took them out of my demo. So I wanted to sound like I'm a male composer who writes action music. That was very silly of me at that time. At a certain point, I realized. So while I was doing that, at a certain point that I realized in my credits, all the music that I composed for was action and thriller. So I even told my agent, and I don't mind you telling people that I'm female composer and I'm Asian, but right now at this point, I'd love to do romantic comedy. All my work process, probably 70% of it is all in my head, just thinking about the project, the themes and the approach, the sound, and then other 30% is actual craft of the work itself. That goes very quickly. Once I watch the film, I don't watch it again and again and again. I watch the movie and then I use piano as a tool. So I sit down at the piano, try to come up with the themes that reflects the whole movie, not specific scene. I deal with that later. And then after the phrases and themes and those material, I apply those to specific scene. When I make cues for specific scenes, that's when I go to the computer and then use the sequencing program. My advice is don't wait till you become something. Just do it now. You want to be a film composer, just find a filmmaker around you who's 17-year-old or 16-year-old who wants to make an iPhone movie, and then just work with those people and create. Always just keep doing it.